the night of 30th, which had advanced into the second day. This is what I remember.
Well, the book is recorded that there were only 2 flights leaving. One was on the 2nd of May and one was on the 30th of May.
We'll investigate it later on, please. You see, the confusion is created because of the difference of time, largely. But as far as I remember, it was the 30th of April already when I left Rabwa. And I reached Karachi late at night, about 10:30. Then we waited there for the flight to be ready. And when I reached the airport, already it was close to 12 o'clock, midnight. Then, as I said, it tilted over to the next day, which was not 30th of April. Correct? If this is true, if this is correct, my memory is right, then the next day after 12 o'clock had to be the 1st of May. Right or wrong? So there is some confusion somewhere, it has to be removed. I have still the passport on which I travelled. So remind the Private Secretary to consult that passport and ascertain the exact dates. Right? Thank you. Please.
So the next question is from Rashid Khan. He's 16, he's from New Malden Jamaat, and he's studying his A-levels at Kingston Grammar School. Hazuri asks, what ways in the Quran are there, as well as prayer, that we can use to better ourselves and develop our minds?
Please. Again, I was... Please.
Hazur Rashid asks, what ways in the Quran are there, as well as prayer, that we can use to better ourselves and develop our minds?
Please sit. This is a very interesting question. You don't have to read any special verses to develop your mind. You have to read the whole of the Quran to develop your mind. Because there is not an iota in the Quran which does not relate to our life and our human complexity. Every verse relates to some complex aspect of human nature. So reading a few verses will not suffice. You have to go through the whole of the Quran trying to understand it. Although the entire meaning of all the verses will not be born instantaneously, but your knowledge will grow into greater understanding of those many verses, and in those areas where you understand them, your mind will be better enlightened. Thank you.
Thank you, Hazur. Hazur, the next question is from Osman Khan from Tooting, who studied in GCSEs. He says, recently, scientists found ice on the moon. What is the Quran's explanation of this, and how will it affect mankind?
Aisha?
Ice.
Ice Age.
No. Ice was found on the moon. Ice.
Aha. This recent discovery that how the ice is discovered on the moon. I don't see any immediate effect on humans, but in perhaps near future, man will be able to have their base, instead of setting on the ground, on earth, will be able to set his base over the moon. And that water will be consumed because the resources of that water are unlimited. So it's only the lack of water which causes hurried departure from moon by humans who go there. But if they have an unlimited stock of water, or at least man cannot finish it, then he can establish a base camp there, and from there in the flights into the heavens would be more I think advantageous in many ways.
Thank you, Azur. Azur, the next question is from Amir Malek from Islamabad. He's studying aeronautical engineering at Imperial College. Azur asks, Islam lays great emphasis on the acquisition of knowledge, but Einstein's work on atomic theory led directly to the atomic bomb. Hundreds of thousands of people lost their lives. How does the death of 1 million people justify the acquisition of this knowledge?
Please. Knowledge is a neutral instrument. It can be employed to good or to evil. It all depends on the employer. So knowledge is good. But whatever knowledge produces, you can employ it to the disadvantage of mankind. So this is a similar case of exactly the same thing. What is knowledge? Knowledge in this case is the understanding of atomic explosions, fusion bombs, etc., etc. But the knowledge does not relate to bombs directly. It relates to the sources of energy which are lying in wait for man to trap. That is knowledge. How to use it to the disadvantage of mankind is also a sort of knowledge, but which in fact is a political utilization of that knowledge. When Einstein spoke of atomic bomb and what havoc it would play, he requested the US government in all earnest not to employ this knowledge to the destruction of mankind. And despite his warning, the United States government went ahead to do it. So it was not science which directly created that threat. It was the employment of that knowledge by the political forces which created that threat. Right? Next, please.
So the next question is from Makbul Khan from Sutton. He says that the Holy Prophet...
Where is he?
Oh,
right, Makbul. Huh? Please.
He says that the Holy Prophet ﷺ said to seek knowledge, even if we have to go to China to attain it. To what extent should we seek to understand secular material knowledge?
Knowledge is described by Rasulullah ﷺ in two branches, ilmul adyane wa ilmul abdane. He said there are only two solid branches of knowledge. One, the knowledge of spiritual world, and the second, the knowledge of material world, which is science. Abdan means the bodies, the knowledge of bodies, which is of course science. In between stand philosophies and isms and this and that. He rules them out as direct knowledge. The real knowledge on which everything is based is religion and sciences. So if you have to go out to China to seek secular knowledge, which is science, I mean, in that case you will be fulfilling the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But remember that he was talking of China around 1400 years ago. China was as far distant from Arabia at that time, and to reach it was so difficult that